Yeah, future of the Clash. You want me to start or you
Sure,
start?
go ahead. I've talked enough.
So the future of the Clash, what we expect going forward with the Clash 2024 and beyond. Auto Club reportedly will not hold a NASCAR Cup race in 2024, and a lot of speculation is going around that this Clash at the Coliseum in LA, the track might replace it and be a points-paying race. And we watched some videos this morning on the drivers reacting after the race to the possibility of this being a points-paying race, and almost all of them said, no, terrible idea, don't do it. But there is some rumblings out there that is a possibility for 2024.
NASCAR is not known to listen to people. So.
No, so they're going to do what the fuck they want to do. Doesn't really matter what the drivers or the fans say. For the most part, they listen to them every now and then, but it's rare. So the future of the Clash, I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. No, they should not have this track as a points-paying race. That would be a terrible idea, but would not put it past them. But they do have to replace that race somewhere. An Auto Club on the West Coast, more than likely, so they might do it. As far as the Clash goes, I would like to see them go back to Daytona or go somewhere on the East Coast where it doesn't take an arm and a leg for these teams to go all the way out west for a non-points paying race for no reason, really. I mean, there's really no reason unless you win the race. You're there to beat up cars and destroy cars. And, there's fights Daytona. If you go back to Daytona, they're going to wreck more cars, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. I'd like for them to go to Daytona, Charlotte, Atlanta, Bristol. Bristol might be too cold in February. Charlotte might be too cold. You go to Daytona like you did. It worked for fucking 40, 50, or it wasn't. Yeah, it was about 40, 50 years. It started in like 70 something. It worked for the most part for years. You had this beginning of speed weeks. You got the first race going in speed weeks, got everybody excited, had the whole rest of the week, practice and the truck race and the duels and the Xfinity race, and they had the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Will they do that? No. What they're probably going to do next year is they're going to probably just move this track, quote unquote, to somewhere in the Midwest. I could see them doing this in Dallas. I could see them doing this in Phoenix, Arizona. I could see them doing this in San Diego. I mean, there's all possibilities they could do this at. They could do it, I don't know,
the big house.
Yeah, the big. Oh no, way too cold for that shit.
Do it. Fuck it. Put snow tires on.
Do it in Minneapolis. They got a dome. I mean, they could do it in any of these type of NFL stadiums that can hold 60 to 70,000 fans and get some more eyeballs into that big town. Do it in Chicago. I mean, well, no, they don't have an indoor. They can't do it there. Anyways, what I'm saying is they're probably going to try to do this at a different arena next year, if I had to guess. Not in LA. They've done the LA thing for a couple of years. They might go back to LA. That's a very strong possibility, too. I think there is a strong possibility they go back to LA next year because it's 2 years, and a lot of people are still saying this is a semi-good event, good place, good atmosphere. So they might change the format up or something like that to make the racing itself better. It's going to be hard to do that because it's so fucking small of a track. But I see them going to either stay in LA and doing this or going somewhere else like Dallas, Arizona, somewhere like that, and do this exact same thing that they did in the Coliseum. What I would like them to do is go back to Daytona, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I like Daytona as the Clash because I'm a fucking boomer, I guess. But it's just what I grew up watching. I grew up watching the Clash, and then they fucking had practice like every day for like a week, and then they ran the fucking qualifying, and then they had the qualifying duels, and then from there they had more practice, and then they ran the Daytona 500, and it was all 2 weeks of cars on track at Daytona, and it followed the 24 hours, and before that it was the Roar before the 24, and there's just a bunch of shit happening at Daytona, and it was like a month and a half of racing, starting first week of January, there are sports cars racing on the road course at Daytona, and until the middle of February, there was cars pretty much on the track every day, and Speed Channel covered it all. And
rest in peace.
Yeah, now it's not like that, and I don't think it ever will be, and I don't think they're ever going to go back to Daytona for the Clash. Which, if they do something else other than Los Angeles, I'm fine with that, because I get it. You have to change, you have to evolve, you have to do what you got to do, you have to grow the sport. I'm okay with that, but you have to be smart with your decision making, and I think they could turn. If I'm running NASCAR, I'm treating the Clash the way the Clash was supposed to be treated when it first was first started, and it was essentially an all-star race. BJ McLeod didn't get to come to the Clash. The rookies didn't get to show up to the Clash. The only people that came to the Clash the first year were the pole sitters from the year before. That was it.
What's it called? The
Busch Light.
The
Busch Light Clash.
Apple.
But so I think they should get back to that and, make this race important. Make it an all-star race, which is what it's supposed to be. You get your 10, 15, 20 best drivers, bring them to a racetrack, and let them go race. We don't need heat races. We don't need qualifying races. We don't need that. What I think they should do is I think they should pick a short track every year somewhere in the country. Greenville Pickens, Anderson Motor Speedway, which I'd never do Anderson Motor Speedway, but Greenville Pickens.
Greenville Pickens is getting
I know
destroyed.
they got sold because it's fucking. Yeah. I'm not even going to talk about that, but the fucking owner of that track can kiss my fucking dick. If I ever saw that motherfucker walking down the street, I'd punch him in the fucking mouth. I fucking hate people like that. But anyways, it's a different fucking. That's a different
subject for another day.
Anyways, sell a racetrack in the dead of night before anybody knows it, so they can build fucking Section 8 housing. But anyways,
it's too loud.
Anyways, pick a short track. Bring your 15, 20 best drivers, line them up for 150 laps, and let them go fucking run. That's what I think they should do. If I lived back where I used to live in Colorado, and they told me, hey, on February 10th, February 5th, whatever it is, the top 15 or the playoff drivers from the previous year are coming to Colorado National Speedway, and they're going to run 150 laps at Colorado National Speedway, and the ticket's $100 to get in. I'd buy 40 of them. I'd buy them all. I'd be there. And I guarantee you, if you ran it at Slinger, if you ran it at, what used to be Greenville Pickens, if you ran it at, any short track in any state around the country, that place would be sold out. Now, granted, it ain't going to be 60,000 fucking people like you would at the LA Clash, but guess what? You're going to have fans there, and you're going to build anticipation, and you're going to build excitement around the sport because
for the whole season.
Because you can set up ways to get new fans there. Hey, have you ever been to a NASCAR race before? No? You get a discount. Hey, have you ever been to bring somebody that's never been before programs? There's shit you can do to get eyes on the sport. And that is more representative of what the sport is. Because we're not just trying to build NASCAR, the top level of cup racing. Short track racing is the lifeblood of auto racing, oval racing, at least in the United States. And oval racing is dying. Greenville Pickens was the first fully televised NASCAR race of all time. That track just closed. Myrtle Beach Speedway just closed. There's tracks all around the country closing right now because they can't sustain the business model because people aren't showing up. And to drum up excitement, to drum up business for a short track in a state like Colorado that doesn't have, they have like 3 racetracks One of them's dirt. And, you know, we got 2 ovals and there's no cup racing there. If you can bring a 150 lap cup race there once every 15 years, that would do astronomical things for the sport to drum up business for the track, to keep the track alive, and maybe bring new eyes back on the sport of NASCAR, and bring old eyes back on the sport that you lost when Dale Earnhardt Jr. retired, when Dale Earnhardt died, when Jimmy Johnson retired, when Jeff Gordon retired, all these fans that lost interest in the sport because their guy left. You can bring those people back, bring their kids into the sport, by running a race at Greenville Pickens Speedway or at Slinger or New Smyrna or some track that we don't race at. They should look at this as an opportunity to gain fans that will actually watch and not just people that are showing up for the event. And that's the problem with the Clash right now, is they're treating it as an event and not as a race. It should be a race before an event, not an event before a race.
Yeah, you said it, man. You know, that would do awesome for these smaller tracks that are hanging on by a thread right now, trying to stay in business. I mean, if NASCAR decides they're coming to the Clash, and like you said, in Slinger or something, I mean, that track would be, as far as money goes, that one race would they would be good for the year. They would be good for the year. They wouldn't have to worry about doing these events, stuff like that. You know, have to worry about money, just to keep the damn track alive for the next 5-6 years. So I like that idea, but they're never going to do that, unfortunately. And they're probably going to go back to LA or go to another big market, try to hit on some new fans. I mean, if they went to Dallas, I would not be opposed to that. I mean, Dallas is in Texas. You know, you still got Texas Motor Speedway there. You got COTA there. And, you know, it's a big market. You could get some new fans there in Dallas more than you could in LA. And then NASCAR did give all the USC students free tickets if they wanted to, but not a whole lot of them showed up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you give these free tickets to these USC students that don't give a shit about NASCAR, don't care about NASCAR. It's like, you do that.
Why would they go on a Sunday night when they got class at 8 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah. And plus it's NASCAR. It's a bunch of rednecks going in circles. That's their, and I know you're trying to change that, NASCAR. I know that's why you're doing this, trying to change that narrative of a bunch of rednecks going in circles, you know, white guys going in circles and all that stuff, beating their wives and stuff like that on the courthouse steps. But, you know, I understand what you're trying to do. It's just,
you can't cut off your right arm, you know, to, you know, spite your nose, whatever the fucking saying is. I fucked it up.
I don't know.
You can't cut off your nose to spite your ass. That's it.
Okay, I got you.
Meaning, you can't hurt yourself. You can't do something that's going to hurt in one area just to make another area better, because it's going to even out and you're going to stay in the same spot. And that's essentially what's going to happen with this bullshit, is NASCAR is going to continue alienating their fans, and they're going to lose their core audience, and whatever fans they gain, it's just going to even out in the wash, and it's going to be, they're not going to gain anything. If anything, they're going to lose. And, you know, I just hope that NASCAR can wake up and see that they are making terrible decision after terrible decision.